Hello and welcome to a new video. What you see in this picture is the smithy or forge in Kilfane in County Kilkenny. The townland is actually Kilfane West, and it was built in around 1875, probably by the Power family who had the estate in Kilfane. And a friend of mine took this picture today. I met her there, and I couldn't take a picture because my phone couldn't get the angle right. But anyway, she photographed it and I asked her to upload it to Wikicommons, which she did. So I can use it now in my video. And I want to take this opportunity to remind you that Wiki Loves Monuments is running for the whole month of September. And you also can upload pictures like these, if you've taken the picture yourself, of your local heritage to Wikicommons, and you get a chance to enter a competition and win a prize, like I did with the Wiki Loves Folklore competition earlier this year. This video is going to be about smithies, buildings that are purpose-built for forging or smithing. And I'm gonna try to stick to the word smithy. It means the same basically, but I looked it up why there are two words, so it's like a lot of words in English. Smithy has a Germanic root, that's why I'm gonna stick to it. And forge has a French root, Old French root, so that's why there are two words. It's a bit like with cow and beef, where beef is from the French and cow is the Germanic word. Only with smithy and forge, it has the same meaning. And there used to be quite a few, of course, in Ireland because they were the service stations of their time. If you were going from A to B and your horse lost a horseshoe or something like that, you could get that fixed, and you could also get your tools made there. So that was very important, but nowadays they're not used that much anymore, or not at all. But there are some really lovely examples, like the one in Kilfane where the door has this horseshoe shape, so they were clearly purpose-built, because why else would you have a horseshoe-shaped door? And there's probably stuff inside that would tell you as well that it is a smithy. Couldn't get inside there, it's abandoned. I mean, it's looked after, but nobody uses it as a forge, and it's not being turned into residential, which does happen. So there are quite a few still in Ireland, and they don't all look like this. There is a very famous example in Enniskerry. Everybody seems to know that one. But there are more of that type with this horseshoe-shaped entrance. And you can look them up on Buildings of Ireland, and there is a map, but obviously do not copy other maps to make OpenStreetMap. You can look it up and you can visit the location, take a picture, upload it to Wikicommons, and then you have the ground truth because you've been there and you can confirm that it is there. But don't just copy the Ordnance Survey map, ever. So just to show you that they are there, so you go to Buildings of Ireland and then into the search surveys and the advanced search, and they're under group here. You can go down to metal, it's called metal something, metal industry site, that's what it is. There is no smithy category. Maybe there is actually, I only, not under is, forge smithy. Okay, there is actually. Denomination, okay. And then you can click search. I hadn't used the subcategory first, so there's one in Carlow, there's another one in Carlow, Dublin. So this one in Dublin still has this horseshoe shape. This one here in County Dublin, Lucan, doesn't seem to have the horseshoe shape, and I won't go through all of them. So there's a ruin here in County Louth where you still see the horseshoe shape. And there's another one here in County Dare with that shape, and another ruin in Kildare with the horseshoe shape. And this is the one that I showed you the picture of before. And you see they didn't have a wide angle lens on their camera. It's very difficult to take a picture of the whole building because of that wall there. And the Enniskerry one doesn't seem to be here. Anyway, but I think it is still there. So and then you can click on this view record and then you can show it on the map. But as I said, do not copy other maps. And what you can also do is, or what's also interesting, and we will come to the mapping, don't worry, and you can skip to that part if you're not really that interested in what I'm saying now. I'll put the timestamps in the description. There are a couple of place names that have forge in it. So I created a query on Overpass for a dress house named The Forge and name The Forge, because that seems to be more common here than smithy. I don't care. I'm still going to say smithy. And there's also street names. I've just looked up Stradbally in County Waterford because I'm planning to go there. And they have a Forge Boreen. The forge is gone. The smithy is gone. But the name is still in the lane name. So if I run this here, so this is should only look for houses or maybe retail spaces that used to be a forge. And it doesn't actually mean if the name is the forge, it might just mean there used to be a forge in that place. It doesn't necessarily mean it still is the forge building. So don't go look up everything that has the name the forge and add the tag that I will introduce there in a minute to all these buildings. Go and check out if that actually was a forge. And some might have a plaque on the wall from the local historical society or something like that. So there are 30, it seems, 11 polygons, 2 lines. So this is one that I actually remember mapping. There's a house in Kilkenny that is called The Forge. I think it was just in the location where there used to be a forge. And then a couple of Limerick, Galway, and so on. You can check that out yourself. Some of them are, so this, for example, is a highway residential. Because I didn't take out way, maybe I should have taken out way. No, I don't know. So it shows the highways as well. And there's the Irish as well. It doesn't show the Forge Boreen because the name is Forge Boreen and not The Forge. But I could have searched that as well if I wanted to. But now to the tag, because that's what you've all been waiting for. So the tag is building equals smithy. And that means the building has to be purpose-built. Like, we can tag school buildings as building equals school, even though they might be residential now. And they're usually purpose-built. And if there is still a blacksmith working there, very unlikely in Ireland, then you use the tag craft equals blacksmith. If it is purpose-built in a museum, I don't know if there are any like that. Maybe the Wexford one, I don't know if they have a smithy or a forge there. Then it's still purpose-built. You would add tourism equals attraction for that. And if there is sometimes a blacksmith still working, then you could still add craft blacksmith. But the main tag would be building equals smithy. And then if it is heritage, if it's not used anymore, or if it is on the list for the National Index of Architectural Heritage, you can add the heritage key as well. And then if they are on the list, you can use the ref IE NIAH, which I introduced in earlier videos. And for other occurrences, I will come to that. I will talk about that when we come to it. So let's get mapping. So here we have Kilfane. And again, this is the area where my friend Caroline collected all the field names. Same friend who took that picture. So this is the building here. I'll go into the map, into the editing mode. Highlight it. And I already added building levels 1, as you could see in the picture. And it is mapped as house, which I just presumed it was, or whoever mapped this building. We just presumed that, and I'll just change that to smithy. And then I could add heritage, yes. As I said, heritage, yes, if it lets me. And the reference number, ref : IE : NIAH. And I added it to the picture on Wikicommons, so I don't have to go into the heritage viewer. Somewhere down here. Copy that and just paste it here. Could add the roof shape as well if I wanted to. While we're at it. The roof material is also interesting, I think, because it really can't be thatch, for example, because that would be a bit of a hazard. So this is slate here. I'll add it just to be thorough. What's also interesting, I think, I'm not entirely sure, I haven't done a lot of research into it, is that there is a water source nearby, which when you're working with fire, you know, even without health and safety requirements back in the 1800s, they weren't stupid. So there is a water source nearby. So and then I can also, of course, add the image. So I copy the file whatever the name is, and add Wikimedia Commons, and paste that there. And then I think that should be all now. Upload this. Added Smithy tags, etc. Source survey. I mean, I could add, just to prove that I was there, I could add the survey date as well. Okay, survey and street level photos, I suppose. But I was there. I'm not going to start a hashtag because there's so few left. I don't really think it's worth doing it. And upload. So that is the first one. The other one is in Killee in County Offaly, and we drove by on our way to Tullamore, and I just jumped out and, oops, that's not how you spell that. Just jumped out and took a picture. And it is this building here, but only this part. So it is residential now, and they have extended this because it's a tiny building. Can't really live in it, so if they've extended it. And as I said about the water, there's also water here. Oops. The Millbrook, which I only added yesterday to make a point. And it's still there. You can see it on the satellite view. And I'll go into the editing mode. And because not the whole building is the smithy, only the first part, the picture is here. I have split this building part off, kind of. So this is the whole building. And this is only this building part. And I've explained this in a different video, so I won't go into this now. So only this first part is the smithy. So it's building : part, and then I'll change yes to smithy. And it also has a NIH number. The thing is with the, let's pull that up. The thing with the Historic Environment Viewer and their map is that they only use dots on the buildings. So I'm always a bit confused. Should I add the number to the whole building? Because it doesn't really refer to the whole building. It depends a bit on the description, I suppose. And I've read the description. I think they say it has been extended, so I can add it to the whole building, even though it should be just about the forge. So this is the number anyway over here. Copy that. And go back in here and highlight the whole building. And add ref IENIAH. And the roof shape here is also gabled. And the roof shape here is also gabled. And I'll add the, I'm torn. I'll add the Wiki Commons link to just the first building because you can only see that bit on it. It's tricky. Wikimedia. With the Wiki Loves Monuments, they might have Wikidata entries as well. I haven't checked against that. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the Wiki Loves Monuments competition month, if I remember. So I'll go into my uploads to get that picture. And there's an app for that as well. The Wiki Commons has an app, so you can take the picture and you can just upload it from there, and you might actually be able to take the picture from within the app. I haven't tried that. I usually take the picture first and then upload. But that makes it fairly easy. And I think my friend probably also used the app, or at least I told her about it, so I presume maybe she did that. So that's the file name here. And hopefully I've already added the NIH number. It's also one building level. I'm not entirely sure in the back. I'm not entirely sure what the roof material is. It looks like slate, but is it real slate or is it artificial slate? Who knows? If I had a precise building date for it, I could add that as start date as well, but I don't. So we'll leave it at that. I think that's safe enough. Added smithy tags, sources, Daisy survey, and I can also add NIH as a source actually, and upload that. So it doesn't change anything in the picture or in the rendering. And if I wait a little bit, there should be 2 more now if I run this. Oh no, I didn't look for that. So we'll look for smithies. Building equals smithy in Ireland. And just click build query because I also have to look for building part, of course. So that's what I just added. I can probably delete the nodes. Building part. Shouldn't be too many. According to, close that was stupid. So there's 7 globally. That's not an awful lot. But maybe there will be more after people watch this video. So I can, I should have done this globally, shouldn't I? But we'll know how many there are in Ireland anyway. Looks like 5. I'm sure there are more. This is the one in, I think this is the one in, no, where's? Enniskerry. Did I say Edenderry before? I meant Enniskerry if I said Edenderry. It rhymes. That's my excuse. So this is the famous one in Enniskerry. There doesn't seem to be a image linked to it. I know there is one, an old picture on the wiki comments. So if you're in that area, that could be your entry into the Wiki Loves Monuments competition. And I see there is one near Edenderry. That's probably why I got confused. What I also wanted to show, oh, I forgot that here. Let's go back in here. They are on the British War Office map. So if you go into the layers here and switch over to Ireland British War Office map, it usually does say smithy. This is very blurry. It's not the best example. It's probably there somewhere. Let's go to Kilfane. It's not working. So there. I hope you can see that it says smithy there, and sometimes it's abbreviated to SMY usually. Bit confused now because it clearly in the picture it's in the middle of the road, in the middle of this field, and it's not anymore. That's a bit strange. I mean, the alignment of the roads isn't precise. If I move this a little here, it's closer. That's a bit confusing, but I'm sure they meant that. If you look around, especially connector roads, so this is the one from Thomastown to Dublin. If I went along here, there would be loads because you just need them every so often. You don't travel as quickly on horseback or in a carriage as you do in a car. So if something breaks, you can't really go that far. But if you just explore, and you can use the You can use historic, the Historic Environments Viewer as well, or GeoHive. Just don't copy the maps, as I said before. But if you just want to look at old maps, that's perfectly fine. And I'm sure you'll see a couple of SMYs somewhere. That's also one of the reasons why I used this, used Smithy instead of Forge, because that's what it's called on the Ordnance Survey maps. All right, what I also want to say, and if you've seen enough, you can turn off now. Bye. You can also find more about this on dukas.ie in the schools collection. There are, like with the Thatchers, there's this category in the schools collection for these essays called Old Crafts, and you will find a lot of smithies and blacksmiths mentioned there as well. So if you want to look into that as well, and it might give you a rough location of one, a lot on Crossroads, then you can find that, and maybe they're still around, or yeah. But it's very interesting to read, I think, these the school collection essays. So that was it now, really. Shini will, and thank you for watching. I also want to thank all my new subscribers and the old subscribers for having subscribed, and if you haven't yet, please do. I should have done that in the beginning, but it was messed up enough. I didn't want to mention anymore. But thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you for returning and watching my videos, and I hope it's inspiring for you. I won't judge if you only take pictures and upload them to Wikicommons, and if you don't map, that's fine. But it'd be better if you do both. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Slán! Oops, sorry, I forgot something. So I came across this book. It's called Smithies of Ireland in the 19th Century, and it was published by the Ordnance Survey. So I think it's just maps showing all the smithies, and there might be illustrations. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen it in real life. I just found it on Amazon. So there's no copies left, unfortunately, but you can get it in the library. So I have ordered it, but it could take weeks until I get it. I just wanted to mention it. And again, do not copy the maps in there. Just use them to find those, and maybe then confirm that they're still there or not. Thank you again. Bye.